Hello, GED class. This is the GED class, and I wanted to remind you as we're watching this video that you'll probably want to stop the video a number of times. So here is the screen that you might be seeing with my face and some other things. When you first start the video, there's an arrow that you push to start it. And then there's two bars, but after you're watching for a while, those bars disappear. But anytime you want to stop the video to read in your book and answer questions, you push on that corner and it will stop. You push or click. I keep saying push, but if you're using a mouse and a computer screen, you may be clicking there. But this corner, the lower left-hand corner, is where you start and stop the video. Okay, today we're going to talk about two words that are very similar. Advice and advise. Advise and advice. Do you hear the difference in how we're saying them? Advise, the S makes the Z sound, zzz, advise. Advise is a verb. It means to give counsel, to offer an opinion or suggestion. So you might come up to someone and say, I have a problem. Will you advise me what to do? Advise is an action word. It's a verb. Then advice is very similar, but here the C sound makes the S. The letter C makes the S sound. Can you hear it? Advice. Advice is a noun. It is an opinion or recommendation. So you could say, I had a problem and I went to my husband to ask him what to do, and he gave me some advice. It's the noun form. So those two words are a similar topic, but the one with the Z sound, advise, is an action word. It's a verb. And the one with the S sound, spelled with a C, advice, is a noun. They are related, but one is a verb, advice, and one is a noun. One is a verb, advise, and one is a noun, advice. Now we're going to be working in our GED book. If you'll remember, we're in the GED Prep 2018 book. So if you have a different year, your page may be a little bit different. But this is the book we're working in. And we're on page 106 in this book. It is the lesson under Interpreting Fiction for Theme. So this is the page that we're on. We've looked at figuring out what a story is about, the subject that is about, the main idea. The theme is a little bit different. The theme of the story goes beyond the subject and tells a point of view about life. So now we're going to look a little bit more about that. I will read a little bit from your book. Every story has a subject. The subject might be about fighting a war or growing up in poverty. But there is more to a story than its subject. As a reader, look for what the author is trying to say about the subject. That is the theme, the message the author wants you to understand as you read. In fiction, the theme is often a statement about life. For example, the theme might be that fighting in a war changes a person's life forever. The theme may not be directly stated. They may not say, "This is the theme," and tell us in words. If it is not, you can infer the theme from the characters' thoughts and actions and from the things that happen in the story. So, as you read the following excerpt, ask yourself, what message about the people and their lives is the author trying to tell you? So stop the video now and read the next 3 paragraphs and answer the 2 questions underneath them. Okay, I hope that you have read the paragraphs now and answered the questions on page 106, and we will talk about them. The first question is, which of the following statements is the theme of the story? 1 is a good life is measured in terms of love, not money. And 2, people should not gossip. Now, there was one time that gossip was mentioned at the beginning of the 3rd paragraph, but this is not really about gossip. It is about that a good life is measured in terms of love, not money. So Dr. Burley's thoughts at the end of the excerpt help you understand that this is the author's main message. So that 3rd paragraph is key. They tell you about Rosicky, the Rosicky family, and that they were comfortable and they were out of debt, but they weren't wealthy. They didn't have a lot of money. And so the last sentence says, people as generous and as warm-hearted and affectionate as the Rosickys never got ahead much. Maybe you couldn't enjoy your life and put it into the bank too. So that fits very much with the idea that a good life is measured in terms of love, not money. The next question is, which of the following details support the theme? Number 1, Mary Rosicky lovingly worries about the doctor. And 2, the Rosickys keep out of debt. It did mention that they weren't in debt, but there wasn't a whole lot said about that. So the story of Mary Rosicky giving a flower to the doctor is kind of an illustration of the main, is a detail that supports that main message. The flowers Mary grows, the fact that she snaps off one to give to the doctor, and her concern for him all show her warmth and happiness. They help support the theme that the doctor reflects on. Now let's look at page 107. We have a 5-paragraph passage, and it is excerpted from a short story. That means it's 5 paragraphs taken out of a short story and put here into our book. The short story's name is Gone Fishing. So I would like you to read this story and answer all 5 questions. It will take you some time. So pause the video now, read the 5 paragraphs, and answer the 5 questions. And then we'll talk about what are the best answers. I hope you have read the paragraphs now and have answered the questions. Let's look at number 1 and see what the best answer is. The question is, in the story, the boy blank after hearing his father's explanation. And there are 4 options. Feels confused, finds a new explanation, no longer trusts his father, tries to convince his father. I don't know what answer you picked, but B is the correct answer. I looked at A, C, and D and did not see any proof in the story. No details in the story support A, C, or D being the answer. So even if I wasn't sure about B, I could figure out the answer by getting rid of the ones that were not written about in the story. There's nothing in there that says that the boy feels confused. There's nothing that says he no longer trusts his father. And there's nothing that says he tries to convince his father. So we see that he finds a new explanation for what happened. That means he explains it to himself. And if you're unsure, you can look in paragraph 3. He says, I asked my father about it, but he told me I was dreaming. Where were poor people like us going to find big gray stallions? But there were horse chips behind the barn and hoof prints too. I decided that it was a magic horse and man that I'd seen. So he finds a new explanation. Number 2, which of the following is the best description of the boy? I think that A, the boy is hard-hearted. That means he's unkind. I don't think there's anything in these 5 paragraphs that makes us think the boy is unkind. So that is not correct. C, skeptical. That means a skeptical person does not believe what people tell them. There's nothing here that says that he is skeptical. And then D, chatty. Maybe so. We don't know. So we have to decide between B and D. Is he imaginative or chatty? Since this whole story is about a dream and about a magic horse and man, I think it is safe to say that B, imaginative, is the right answer. Number 3. What is the most likely reason the boy decides he saw a magic horse and man? A, he wants to reconcile what he saw with what his father told him. B, he enjoys magic and likes to make up stories. C, he wants to prove his father was mistaken. D, this kind of miracle can happen. Let's look at what answers are definitely not right. He enjoys magic and likes to make up stories. Well, let's go to the third one. He wants to prove his father was mistaken. That simply is not true. There's no reason proving something. There's nothing in there where he's trying to prove something. So that leaves A, B, and C. And I think clearly A, he wants to reconcile what he saw with what his father told him. Again, if you look at paragraph 3, at the end, he tells about what he saw. Then he asks his father about it in paragraph 2 is about what he saw in his dream. Paragraph 3, he asks his father about it. And then paragraph 5, he just decides it was a magic horse and man he'd seen. He never says my father was wrong, though. So the answer for number 3 is A. He wants to reconcile what he saw with what his father told him. Number 4, which of the following would the father probably enjoy most? Daydreaming about the future, having enough money to pay some bills, keeping his son's hopes up about getting a new bicycle for his birthday. D, sharing ghost stories around a campfire. Well, we don't know very much about the father, do we? But we do know what he told the boy. He told the boy, he told at the bottom of paragraph 3, he said, he told me that I was dreaming. Where were poor people like us going to find big gray stallions? So the father talks about being poor. So based on that, we can guess that having enough money to pay some bills would be something the father would enjoy. Excuse me. Number 5. Which of the following statements fits the theme of the story? A, false hopes will not get you anywhere. Dreams really can come true. Adults cannot see what children see. And D, morning and youth are full of possibilities. I thought this was actually the hardest question. But there's no indication. A, false hopes will not get you anywhere. There's nothing in the story that makes us think that that is the theme. B, dreams really can come true. Well, in this story, no dreams have come true. So that is not the theme. Adults cannot see what children see, or morning and youth are full of possibilities. Those were the ones I chose between. But when I looked at the end of the last paragraph, it made it clear that D, morning and youth are full of possibility, is the correct answer. Let's look at the last part of paragraph 5. If you get up early enough, you might find something so beautiful that it would be all right if you just died right then, because nothing else in life could ever be better. So D is the correct answer for number 5. Thank you for listening to this video. I hope it was helpful, and I will post another one later in the week. Bye-bye.